police checkpoint yesterday?
That was pretty special, pretty special. I think we spent about 5 hours there, waiting for our fine to diminish. We were stopped routinely, and because we were being stopped and waved off the road, we saw no reason to indicate, as you never would. But being the guy at the front, I was accosted by the police officer. When I tried to greet him in a friendly and charming manner, he barked back at me that I'd committed a contravention by not indicating, and therefore I must pay the fine, which he then went on to explain was 10,000 CFA, which is about £10. And so I said, well, is that 10,000? Is that for all 3 bikes, or is that just for me? And he said, no, it's not. It's not for all 3. The fine per bike is 7,500 CFA, which would add up in his mind to 21,500 CFA. And he was therefore giving us a bulk discount, if you will, by only charging us 10,000 CFA. So it was for all 3 bikes. So I explained this seemed like an awful lot of money, seemed like a great deal of money, far more than any Senegalese person would expect to pay as a spot fine at the side of the road, particularly given that none of the Senegalese vehicles actually have indicators, never mind use them when being pulled over. So we decided to not understand him and to generally obstruct him, and whilst not particularly disobeying him, just failing to understand why he'd want us to move our bikes and all this kind of stuff. So we just settled down and sat in the shade, and he came and talked to us and tried to give us a slip of paper to take to the police station so we could pay our fine. And then we just continued to sit it out, and we just didn't understand his piece of paper. We didn't understand that we'd done anything wrong, and eventually we decided to sort out Chris's rear tyre, which had slipped on his rim, so we thought we'd take his wheel out and take the tyre half off and sort it out and put it back on. And the policeman actually even helped at that point. He actually came along and helped in the process of putting the tyre back on, and he also offered me some water to clean the dust out of my eye and so on, and started being a lot more friendly. And by the time we'd finished putting the wheel back in and so on, he just got bored of the sight of us. We had been there about 4, maybe 5 hours by that point, so he got bored of the sight of us and just gave us our driving licences back so that we could carry on our way. So we had a little personal victory there, a little personal victory over the policeman, which was quite satisfying, because we knew we'd done nothing wrong, and he was clearly just out to make 10 quid out of us. And I'd imagine most Western tourists would just crack long before that, so he probably does make quite a bit of money. But we had been warned about the police around San Louis, that they were very awkward and they would tend to try and extract money out of you, and so it was.